The Grappling Hour is brought to you by Luda Gear, athletic support items created by grapplers for grapplers.
Yeah. Check it out.
Hey, what's up, friends? It is your good, I guess friend. I guess I don't want to be redundant. Anyway, it's Raph. I just want to say I'm having a fantastic day. We just shot an amazing episode of Grappling Hour that is going to be airing a little bit later this week that I cannot tell you more about, except for the fact that I take a guest out to one of my nearby bars. And, we basically, we just got to drink for the interview. And that's not something you get to do with every single person. So look for that. That's coming up. But today is all about a champ. Today is about a friend of the show who, I don't know how to put this to you, but like he's so savage that like every time I see one of his new games, every time I see what he's working on, I'm just like, yo, dude, you're at such a great level of jiu-jitsu that it is a great honor to watch you compete, but it's always even better to get the chance to catch up with our good friend JT Torres, the recent winner at ADCC in the blah 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 kg. What I don't respect those actual weights, so I just wanted to say whatever weight you really are, that's fine. But anytime someone asks me, they're like, "Raph, how many?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm 19 stone." So I just like to say, the champ JT Torres. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Doing much better now that I'm here with you.
Oh well, please, JT. I'm not just astounded, but I'm super in that place where like I wanted to interview you right after you won, and I know we wanted to try and find a time that worked for both of us. And I'm so glad that we were able to get it kind of now.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, how did it feel to win again? And was it any better or sweeter this time than it was the last time? Or does it just feel the same of like, yo, it's the still same great feeling?
I would say it's definitely sweeter this time around, just because I know after winning in 2017, the target's on my back. I'm the number one guy in the division, and people are coming to, take me off that number one spot. They're coming in and beat me up. And just to stay motivated for those 2 years and stay hungry enough to work hard enough to stay on top, is harder to do than winning the first time around, I believe. So I proved it to myself, winning that second time around, that, I am number one. You know what I'm saying? Because, you can win the first time. People say, oh, it was a fluke, or he got lucky, or this or that. This person was sick. But to come back and do it twice in a row with being with having 2 years in between the two tournaments, I think it goes to show a lot. And it just felt sweeter this time around.
What is a celebration like to you guys? Because I'll tell you this much: you've lived in California, you lived, you're back on where you belong and home. But when they get the opportunity to give you a celebration here in California, what does that look like that night of? What are you doing to celebrate it and encapsulate it perfectly?
Oh, so the first thing I did, it was, obviously showered, all that good stuff. And then the way I celebrated was getting a big ice cold Coca-Cola with some burgers and pizza.
So, okay, hold on. Is that something you deprive yourself of when you're in the middle of training?
Yes.
Are you a Coke person?
You know what? I used to drink a lot more Coke than I do now. Now I've made a habit of not drinking it, even when I'm, out of season or not, in training camps. But I love Coca-Cola, man. That's my I don't know how to say it, but that's my thing. Okay. I love drinking Coca-Cola, man, especially after a training session. There's nothing better than drinking an ice cold Coca-Cola with some ice cubes in it. Love it, love it. And
I just hear this right now, and I'm like, this fool is trying to get himself a sponsorship from Pepsi or Coke right now, and I don't know if I'm supposed to stand for this, but I'm listening to you, and I'm just like, I hate about myself is that I know I'm addicted to that. So to
yeah,
me, I try to wean it off to just like maybe once a day, like a meal sort of a thing to have with
right,
it.
right.
Sometimes that's a struggle, especially if you're
Yeah,
working on a set or they're just like, here's free stuff, and you're like,
yeah, yeah,
oh, this is so hard. Oh, I'm gonna be so fat if I keep doing this.
yeah. It's true.
But for you to hear that you also would be a person who's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking have a nice Coke after I train. It is somewhat connecting to those of us who are like not an ADCC champ, but at least
Right.
I celebrate my victories the same way he does.
Right. Yep. Yep. I love drinking Coca-Cola, man, and only Coca-Cola. Like, if you give me any other soda, I
Mm.
mean, I'll drink it if I have to, if there's nothing else. But when it comes down to soda, Coca-Cola is number one in my books, man.
Well, we're gonna be flexible about that. If somebody is, gonna give you the money, I'm gonna be like, yo, he
Yeah.
drinks
Yeah. Of
Sprite
course.
like nobody's business. So, like, no one cares if he has issues with it.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Yeah. Sprite. If you want to sponsor me, I love Sprite too.
Exactly. I'm like, you can get your LeBron on. You could be sitting there
Yeah.
with Sprite. It's fine.
Yeah.
I just,
100%.
and I think it's important for our sport to eventually be getting to that point where we get you guys those sponsors. Because even in the
Be
UFC,
amazing.
when you see those guys have Monster energy drinks, they're not drinking a Monster,
No.
but they have that nice little cup that's like, this is the best Monster I've ever had.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
But hey, man, it's cash money for everybody, so that's why I always get excited about that. What burgers, though? See, this is the important journalism I have to do, because if
Yeah.
I don't ask this question, then the
Right.
streets will come after me. So,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
burger did you end up having, sir?
Well, I'm in California at this point, right after the ADCC, this last one. So it's going to be In-N-Out Burger for me.
Okay.
But
Mm-mm.
my burger of choice when it comes to fast food burgers
Mhm.
is, of course, Shake Shack. It
Okay.
is the best.
I can respect that because you're not going to go the hard line five guys sort of way, and I feel like with In-N-Out
Yeah.
fans such as myself, there becomes a real turf war. But I feel like Shake Shack is one of those ones that you go, I respect that.
It's neutral.
Yeah.
It's neutral, you
Well,
know?
my wife also, like, she's from Illinois, so she's one of those people that, like, she does In-N-Out more now because of me.
Right.
But like, she'll let it be known every once in a while. She's like, I want to go to Shake Shack. And I was like,
Yeah.
women, we're going to have some In-N-Out or we're
Yeah.
getting divorced, but we have fun with that. So that's
That's
great.
cool.
Which, by the way, we'll get to another thing that I know has happened with you, but I just want to kind of encapsulate this experience because I want to go to just a couple of the matches, because to
Yeah.
me, 2 years in a row to have you and Gary in the semifinals is it's hectic, because to me that sounds like a final that happens twice, and I was
I
so
know.
mad that I'm like, listen, just make it the fucking final. Like, no disrespect to everybody else, let's just do that, because especially when you see it twice, is that we're friends with both you, we're friends with Gary, and
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, I don't really care who wins because I respect both of you so much, so it's on you guys.
Right.
But would I love for you guys to both have the honor of being in a final and doing your respective jiu-jitsu? And I asked the question, would it make it more special? Maybe. I don't know those things. But, I'm
Yeah.
sitting there when I see the semifinals happening, I'm just like tracing it out with the person with conspiracy theory and being like, oh no, they're going to do that again. What did it feel like to go up against Gary this time?
It's felt just like the first time. It's always going to be a war, a battle with Gary. Gary, in my opinion, is one of the best grapplers in the world, man.
Yeah.
One of the best guys in the world. He's well-rounded. That's the thing about Gary. He's just not good at one thing. He's good at everything, which makes him ultra dangerous, but also makes it a good, exciting match for the people to watch. And I prefer fighting matches like that, where the person comes out and brings the heat to me too. That's where I think I do my best. And yeah, it's always an honor to fight Gary. It really is.
Yeah, I very much appreciate your guys' games. I think
Thank you.
they make for an exciting matchup, which to me is all you can really ask for when you do have friends going up against each other. So,
Yeah. I think we have like styles, like you said, that complement one another, where he's trying to create a lot of movement and I'm trying to eliminate the movement. So it's just like who gets to their game first, you know? So it's fun to watch.
and but that's the whole thing as fans, you know. I mean, I'm sure there are easier routes you could all take to winning
Right.
this
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
But you know, as a fan, sometimes we look at our athletes and we're like, you know, you could fight this guy or you could fight that guy, but you know, that's not going to be as exciting as this. This is fireworks. So to
Yeah.
us, watching there, it is great. So let's talk about your finals. When you saw who you were going up against in the finals,
Right.
did you have that feeling you would be in the finals with them, or were you expecting somebody else?
You know what? When I saw Wagner in the finals, I was expecting him to be in the finals, to be honest with you. Yeah, I expected him to come out of that side of the bracket. You know, leading to ADCC, prior to our fight to win super fight, he was probably the most active competitor out of the 77 kilogram division since 2017. You know, I won in 2017, but I didn't compete in Nogi all the way up until our super fight in Philly, which was like 2 months, 3 months before ADCC, this last one. So Wagner was easily the most active competitor out of all of us. Gary, I think, started fighting MMA shortly after Finland, right? So, and Wagner was on a tear, man. He was crushing people left and right. So I think Wagner's. I had the number one seed coming in 2019, but I think people had Wagner as the number one seed off the record, like off, you know, off the official brackets, which was to be understood, you know. And that's why when I had an opportunity to take the super fight with him in Philadelphia, I took it. Actually, I asked for a super fight. They sent me a list of people who I could have fought against, and Wagner was on that list. And I said, you know what? There's no better way to see where I'm at in my preparation for ADCC than fighting probably the number one guy right now in the division. So I said, you know, let's fight Wagner. And so when I fought Wagner in Philly, I did my thing, came out with victory. So I wasn't surprised to see him in the finals in the ADCC championships. You know, like I said, he was the most active competitor out of the group, and you know, he was crushing people.
Did having that super fight play a role in the way that you had developed? Would you say that was an active, smart decision on yours to say like, hey, I want a super fight, kind of not a tune-up per se, but
Right.
just a tuning fork to see where you might be?
Right. You know, I think it was, you know, because like I said, there's no better way to test yourself against probably the other top dog in the division. So, you know, I got to see exactly where I was at, exactly to see what I have to work on, what I need to fix, what I'm doing good at. It was a perfect test for me leading into that tournament.
Okay. I guess the other question I had was, did you have evasive maneuvers or countermeasures
Oh,
in mind for if,
mm,
you know, a certain python grip is about to happen or a slap is
yeah,
supposed to happen? Because as much as we love Wagner, he's the first to admit, he's like, ooh, I love a good tense game. You know, I love something. And sometimes it just happens, man.
yeah. Well, you know, the slaps that you just mentioned there's no game plan to stop it. You know, just it was, you know, honestly, like yes, I did study Wagner, and I had game plans set in place just in case he went for, you know, his Kimura traps and all that good stuff that he's really good at. But when it came down to the game of him, you know, getting a little rough and tough out there, a little dirty boxing out there, the game plan was just not to let that bother me, because I know he likes to do that uh, for more of the mental warfare aspect of the match. Um, you know, watching his matches, studying to fight him, I saw that he would get people off their games. He would piss people off and then get them to react, make a mistake, and get them to make a reaction out of emotion, and then he will capitalize on it.
You mean the guy
So
who kicked somebody off a stage would use some version of that to get under their skin? I can't see
yeah,
it.
yeah, right. So I knew that was going to come. I knew he was going to try to play, you know, that rough and tough game with me, but I didn't let it bother me. And I think the fact I didn't let it bother me kind of threw him off a little bit. Like, hey, you know, this guy's not giving me any openings or reacting to me giving him kind of a hard slap on the head, you know? So yeah, I mean, I did have some game plan set in place though. As you guys saw in ADCC, I shot on a single leg on him, and I knew the Kimura trap was coming. I knew it. And if you guys see that match, when I shot in, he went for the Kimura trap. I popped the head out straight to the back take. So yeah, always having a game plan in place. It's always going to be a benefit for you, right?
That's pretty dope, dude. And again, Wagner's a friend of our show. He's our very first guest. I just love
that's cool.
Yeah, Wagner, you know, he has a great place on our show, and occasionally he'll check in on shows and be like, "What'd you say about me?" And I was like, "I said fine things. Shut up. You're fine."
Right.
Like, it's so funny because every athlete will, you know, we'll have somebody tune in, and I can see who's watching sometimes. And
Yeah.
sometimes they comment in the sections, and sometimes they're just like, "Yo, what are you guys saying about me?" And I'm like, "You're good. I don't, bro. I don't think we really speak disrespectfully about anybody. So
Yeah.
everybody can chill the F out."
Right.
But he's somebody who we admire for pushing a more active game, and I think that that's the benefit of what it is he does. I'm just saying, when he and I were chatting, and I was like, "Yo, I'm not rolling with you. Like, if you break bad, you know, for some of the guys who I roll with, I have little break in case of emergency moves. I don't know that I have that with you. I think if something breaks bad, I just might get a little. I'm out of my league, you know." And Wagner's sitting there, and he's just like, "No, I'd be fine, man. We'd roll great." And I was like, "I don't. Even if I accidentally did something to you, I'm not feeling great about that." So,
yeah.
Well, that's great. I want to ask you though, when those things happen though, and I was curious about this because I'm a big fan of championship mentality. How do you get yourself in that mode? Because your composure is, I think, one of the best hidden secrets in all of jiu-jitsu. I think that a lot of people talk about trying to be in the zone, but I think you just do it and you don't talk about it. So to me, I'm always curious, how do you stay in that zone when you are competing at this level?
Man, it took years of practice, to be honest with you. Years of practice. The same way you would go out to the gym and work out, work on your cardio, running on the treadmill, or you know, do some bench press. The same thing with your mind. You have to bring yourself to that place in your mind, and the way you do that is during training, right? Just the same way I would do a training camp. You know, during my ADCC training camp, for example, I have to prepare physically, obviously, right? But also during that training, I do certain training sessions that are meant to take me beyond my point of physical, whatever I'm capable physically, right? I know I'm going to get tired. And I know after I get tired, that's when the mind training starts kicking in. Can I keep myself in the game without losing focus, even though I'm probably getting beat up? I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm hungry. I'm tired. You know, can I keep up mentally? So years of practice of doing that. I make that a key component in my training camps, making sure where my mind's at during training. Because when people talk about training camps, they just talk about the physical part of it. Yeah, man, I did 25 rounds of 5 minutes, or I did only specific from the back, or, you know, we worked rear naked chokes today, whatever. Okay, that's all good. But when you go out there and compete on the highest level, and you got a dude who's tough as shit across from you, you know, trying to take your head off, can your mind handle it? And if you don't take notes of where your mind's at during those training camps, then you're not sure if you're ready or not mentally. So I always make notes of that. You know, how did my mind go off the deep end today, or did it stay focused? If it went off the deep end today, I got to make a better note of that tomorrow to make sure I keep myself in the zone. So just the same way we train physically, we got to train mentally too during those training camps. So just years of training, years of experience doing that is how I get myself into that zone. There's not a simple answer I can give you guys, because it goes so deep, right? It's just so deep, and everyone has different triggers, and everyone has different. Everyone's mind works a little bit differently, but for me, that's how I get myself mentally stronger, is getting myself in those situations during training where I'm so tired, where I have to rely on my mind staying strong. And that's the way I do it. So when I go out there and compete, my mind is used to it, is used to the chaos. And sometimes, like, I'll give you a quick example. I'll have like a Shark Tank being done, right? And I'll have my students yelling at me, yelling. Either they're coaching against me or coaching me during the training, and then I'll turn up the music really loud. So there's chaos going all around me. So I recreate a chaotic situation, but my whole goal is keep focused, keep focused, keep focused, keep focused. And that's one little example that I can give you guys that I use to help me build up the mental strength.
Yo, I gotta be honest. This is actually, I didn't know this was gonna be validating for me, but it's really nice because over here, when some of the guys are training, I'll run certain camps for some of my friends.
Yeah,
And, as I run the room, I'll literally be sitting there and I'll be like, all right, we're turning on music. You're coaching this guy. You're coaching this guy.
yeah, oh
I'm
yeah,
going to heckle every one of you. And
yeah,
you guys do your shit and you have to stay in that moment. And to me, at first they're kind of like, why are we doing this? And I was like, you just got to trust me on this. Like,
yeah,
there's no way to replicate perfectly what you're going to experience out there, but you have to throw yourself into that. So to hear that that's something
right.
that you do as well, um, I'm astounded because people were looking at me and they're just like, well, what did you think this was from? And I was just like, I go, honestly, it's just a theory that everybody talks a good game, but like nobody likes being coached against,
No, yeah,
and
it's
that's
true.
gonna happen. Like, there's
Yep,
no way you control that. They want
yep,
their team to win just as bad. So that's pretty dope. I guess the reason
yep.
why I'm so curious about the actual mentality game is, when did you open your gym?
I opened my gym 2017. So
Okay, but it
it's
was
been 3 years.
ish, yeah. But you were
Yeah, yeah.
just at the tail end of 2017 when you got that ADCC championship.
Yep.
You were just opening it. You had put in the work, but you can also say that a number of your camp experiences for that kind of ADCC prep could also be attributed to being, at Atos HQ.
100%.
This one is indicative, and why I think it's significant, of you being on your own gym,
Yep.
establishing it, creating your own set of monsters to go out there and compete in a heavy
Yep.
situation. So to me, when you don't have a home HQ at your disposal, the mental game becomes you. And you can talk about it
Yes.
with other people, but
Yes.
it was an remarkable achievement the first time in 2017, having all that chaos in your
Yep.
personal life come in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But now I'm thinking about it, and I was just curious. I'm like, are you listening to DVDs of speeches of things to help you with that mindset and that mentality? Because everybody's looking to you at your gym to keep that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just all me, man. It's
Okay.
all me. I'm not listening to any. I'm not listening to any, books or audiobooks or speeches or anything like that. It's just, I mean, like I think years of experience of training and training around world champions like Andre Galvao has
Mhm.
helped me, you know. But I, I think at a certain point a couple of years ago, it just hit me like, man, I just gotta, no matter how hard this everything gets around me or how hard the situation that I'm in, I gotta just make sure my mind stays strong.
Mm.
When it comes down to it, that's all. It just clicked for me one day. Clicked for me one day.
It sounds like then your gift was the years of experience turned into a professional sort of way that you conduct yourself. So that
Yeah,
became your kind of invisibility cloak, your shield, if you would,
yeah,
amongst all this chaos. So
oh
that's
yeah,
that's pretty great to hear. One thing I'm also curious, while we're talking about championship and winning mentality, is this: it's so easy to win once and say,
yeah,
like, I'm good, like, that was fun, y'all, this is a
yeah,
lot of work, I
yeah,
don't feel like doing it again.
yeah.
But what keeps you motivated? Like, what keeps you motivated to do it? Is that still in the hunt? Are you already looking at 2021? Like, what does that feel like, and how do you stay motivated to go to the next thing?
To be honest with you, I just want to inspire my students, man. I want to inspire the students and the people who look up to me around the world, my fans. I just want to show them that what I'm preaching here at the academy, I live it. I do it. I walk the talk. I talk the walk, however you say that. Um, it came to a point where I joke around about it, but you know how people have kids and they say, I got mom strength, I got dad strength, right? I always say when I open up the academy is like my baby. I got that dad strength.
Mm.
So, and what I mean by that is I have all these people who look up to me now, that I work with day in and day out, talking about, kids all the way up to adults. And now when I compete, I feel I'm competing for more than just myself now. Before I opened up the academy, I was just competing just for JT. And so I'm just going to go out there and compete and do what I can. It's just for me. This is for me. This is to build myself up, make a career for myself, blah, 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 blah. Now when I'm competing, I'm like, man, I'm even more motivated in training. I'm training even harder than I've done before, just because I know I want to represent my students to the best of my ability. And I want to show them that I bust my ass on the mats, off the mats, and I translate that over to when I compete. So they can take that and apply that to anything in life, right? On and off the mats. But I just want to show them that hard work does work. So when I put in that work in front of them, because like you said, this last camp, I did it here with my students. Yep. My students saw me firsthand training for this tournament. They're like, Jesus, man, Professor JT is a savage. He's a wild man. He's a crazed man when he's doing his competition training. But they saw that translate over to the competition, and I've inspired so many of my students to work that much harder towards their goals, whatever those goals may be. Losing weight, becoming a black belt, signing up for their first local tournament, whatever those goals may be. But I can see that they're working harder now because they saw me do it firsthand. So that's what fires me up. Just knowing that I have the ability of motivating and inspiring so many people around me now. That's what really drives me. When I was younger, like I said, I didn't really look. I didn't see that. All I saw was like, I just want to beat the crap out of this guy. I want to try to get a sponsorship. I want to try to get some free gis. That was my thought process. Now it's so much deeper than that. It's like, man, I want to inspire the next generation. I want to be able to be part of history. So when they talk about like how I talk about, like, yeah, man, when I was coming up through Jiu-Jitsu, I used to watch Andre Galvao all the time. That guy inspired me. So just to know I can be a part of someone's history or someone's story one day is what fires me up.
I would love to be able to tell you that you inspired me to get better at jiu-jitsu.
Thank you, man.
Well, hold on.
Wait a second. No.
I watch the way you grapple, and then I immediately am like, I can't move that fast. I gotta slow this down. Speaking of which, how old are you, JT?
I just turned 30.
Yeah, okay.
This past September.
You're still a baby. But when I hear you talk about dad strength, and I get the metaphor, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
You're too young for dad strength. Dad strength should be reserved for these hardworking 45-year-old dudes. Because
is that the age, 45 and over, for dad strength?
I don't have a particular thing. I just know that dad strength is supposed to be the excuse I use for people who I'm like, I should be better than them. But their dad strength is taking it. For you to be 30 and already have dad strength when you were already pretty savage as was, I think is unfair. I think when you're like, yo, now I've built a gym and I'm tired.
I feel stronger.
Just like, chill, dude. You were doing fine without your dad strength. But I mean, I love hearing that in particular. I will bring this up to you just as a point counterpoint to what you're saying here.
Yeah.
It's nice that you bring that up, that you didn't see it before.
Yeah.
But I'm of the philosophy that I don't think you were supposed to see it then. I think that things kind of work themselves out. And I think that if you had been focused in a particular different way, I think fighters and grapplers in some ways need to be selfish at certain times. And 100%. I think that they need to do their journey. And I think that it's so nice when you start to excel and as you're peaking that you can say what does this all mean? You can take a moment then. But if you didn't have that desire to go up there, that might open the window for somebody else. So for me to hear you say that is I think it worked out fine. I think you hit it at the right time. And now that you are home, you have your gym, you have these, again, monsters who are often doing their own things. I mean, Steven was just on Polaris. That kid's everywhere. Very proud of him. Still hate him. But all those things that I really I love seeing, knowing that it came from your gym and your what you were implementing over there. And that is a good paying it forward method. Let's chat, though, because I'm curious to know how this gi match came together, because everybody's well, JT, I mean, he's does he even know what a gi is anymore? Like, he's just winning all these ADCC titles. How did the Third Coast Grappling come together, and why in particular this match? Because I'm excited about it.
You know what? They messaged me. Uh, well, obviously I've seen their promotion. Yeah, I watched the Gordon Ryan Bo Nickel match. That was really interesting. So they're doing a great job with their promotion. They're doing a good job with their event. You know, promoting it and putting it out there because they caught my attention, and I'm sure they're catching many other people's attention too. And they shot me a message one day like, hey, you know, we're putting a card together. We'd love to have you on the card. I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And they sent me Lucas's name over. They're like, you know, we want to match you up with this guy, gi match. And I know who he is. I've seen him compete. I know he's one of the younger guys now, part of the new generation coming up. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I asked gi, no gi? And they said gi, no problem. And the thing about me, like you said, you know, do I even know what a gi is anymore? Which is pretty funny. The thing about me is that even during my ADCC camps, I'm training gi. Yeah. Like all year round, I'm training gi or no gi. And that's just something I've done since I started jiu-jitsu. You know, I remember my first academy did gi or no gi. I've never changed, you know, ever since the first time I started training. It was just never a thing to me. Like nowadays you see people, I only do no gi or only do gi or this or that. Real. I think that's just crazy to me. Yeah. You know, I've always done both. And I've done pretty well at both gi and no gi. So yeah, you know, it's no different for me, honestly. If someone asks me, hey, gi or no gi, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Let's do it.
I have a general policy at our gym, which is or any gym I visit, you know, if people primarily know me as a gi guy, they're like, you won't roll no gi. I'm like, bro, like whatever, bro. Like if you want to go no gi or gi, like to me, I think it's really important to not base your whole thing off of one, because I always feel like if I go to a gym and I'm like, yo, my gi is so untouchable, and then you go to a no gi gym and you're like, oh right, I never looked at this.
Right.
I might get murked here. Like to me, I try to do it, and if I'm, you know, I favor no gi right now.
Yeah.
So what I do to complement that is I will literally tell myself, if it's like an open mat, I'm like, yo, I've got to get 50% of my gi in on this open mat so that I've earned my 50% no gi, because that way I'm not neglecting either of them. And, you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea to do one or the other.
Right.
I just, for me personally, I have a utmost respect for those who compete in both. Here's a question though, because you said you were watching it. Were you curious as to how the Bo Nichols and Gordon Ryan thing was going to go because of the, I don't want to call it ridiculous. I mean, I know Ryan, I would call it absurd in terms of wrestling versus jiu-jitsu hybrid.
Yeah.
But does any of that interest you?
As far as me like doing a match like that one day, yeah, I would love to. You know, I would love to. That's the reason why I watched it. It did interest me. You know, I didn't think Bo Nickel could win just because the rules. You know, like once, I mean, all it takes is for it to go to the ground once, and you know, I knew that, you know, he couldn't hang with Gordon on the ground.
I mean, even if you were to give him one submission, you'd be like, you can only get a triangle choke. I'd be like, I'd still bet on Gordon to get that triangle choke. You know
100%, 100%. So yeah, I mean, I think they're still like got to work the kinks out for the rule set, you know, because we did see like Bo Nickel, you know, try to circle around, which I understood his game plan. He wanted to spend less time on the ground with Gordon, which I don't blame him. So I think they still got to work the rule sets out, maybe do like periods like they do in wrestling, like shorter periods, you know. I don't know what the perfect rule set will be, but I would definitely be interested in a match like that. Obviously, if I do a straight wrestling match with someone on an Olympic caliber, they're going to kill me. But the same way, if they do a straight grappling match with me, I'm pretty sure I'm going to submit them or, you know, catch them in something eventually. So I think, you know, a rule set that they keep working out the kinks would definitely interest me, man. I would love to do something like that one day.
I'm just curious because I know, again, when you talk about having a target on your head, you also have, I think, credibility on your head because you've earned that. And I think, I'm just trying to get you paid, though. Like, I don't even care. Like, I'm trying to get you a good match. I'm trying to watch you. And, like, I think that when you do look at those interesting matchups, because you have an exciting crossover appeal, I'm like, why not? And if they have somebody for you that would make sense, I think that would be fun. So I'm putting it out there. But I'm stoked to see that. When is that match going down, sir?
I believe it's March 14th.
Okay,
If
March
I'm,
14th
if I'm correct.
is a correct
Somewhere
date.
around that day.
But
Yeah.
before March 14th, I have it on good authority that you will be releasing your own BJJ instructional. And I swear
Yes.
to God, there's a new one coming out every week from BJJ Fanatics.
I
So
know.
how did that come together, and what is yours going to be, sir?
Well, I first filmed with BJJ Fanatics many years ago. I was one of the first people to film with them
Hmm.
before they were BJJ Fanatics. They were BJJ Super Deals, I think, back then. And now, the company transformed into BJJ Fanatics today. And, after the ADCC, I'm good friends with the people over the company. We just connected again. We're like, hey, I think it's time to do a good project. Let's show the world exactly what I'm working on. Show the world exactly what I used to win 2 back-to-back ADCC titles at arguably the hardest division there is, 77 kilos. So it only made sense to do it. And I filmed actually 2 DVDs. I filmed a DVD where I explain pretty much everything I do from on bottom, and then one DVD where I explain everything I do from on top. So top and bottom, best of both worlds. I show, control, submission, sweeps, passes, different transitions, things that I basically use on the everyday training, competition, things that I use to help me win 2 back-to-back ADCC titles. And one thing that I think I possess is a style that people can do across the board. It's very simple, straightforward jiu-jitsu where I think anyone can add to their game right away.
Oh wow, nice. I wanted this to be more of a dynamic effect, but I want to put this up there and then just be like, yo, take my money, dude. Like like just have it. It's fine. Because I mean, you had me at a DVD instructional for you, but then when you mentioned you're like, oh, it's both top and bottom. I'm like, whoa, wait, hold on. And the worst part is I'm like, yo, I had more money, but now I don't know where it went. So that means someone took some money of mine, and that's cool. But I was like, yo, all I've got is fucking $2 just by my desk right now. I was like, that's not gonna look as dynamic as I want it to. But I'm very excited about that because I think, it's a great opportunity for those who maybe don't have the opportunity to train with you.
Right.
Or it's a nice starter palette because you also do an extension of your gym online. So tell us a little bit about that, sir.
I do. So I have Essential Jiu-Jitsu online, where I'm posting videos, technique videos weekly, sparring videos. So like you said, if you're not in New York or in the tri-state area where you can come out and train with me on a daily basis or every once in a while, if you're on the other side of the world and you want to check out my style, be a fly on the wall, definitely check out my online website. It's like I said, I'm updating it weekly with the lessons. I'm working every week with my students here, so it'll be like you're just here with us.
That's dope. I think I'm gonna have to check it out because
Thank you, man.
It's one of the few ones that I haven't looked at yet. And
Thank you.
again, it's not any disrespect to you, but it's just
No, of course.
No, but it's just looking at your style and being like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But I'll look at the techniques and then I just gotta figure out what the version I do for your dynamic explosion. I'm gonna be like, add slow escape into slithered side control.
Oh, that's funny.
I tell people, I'm like, anybody who tries to ask me, like the younger kids, they're like, how do I do what you do? I was like, don't ever do what I do.
Don't ever do it.
Do everything opposite of what I do because mine works for me and barely at that. So y'all do your version, I'll do my version. JT, I mean, I know you've got a race out of here. You've got a private coming up, but I want to kind of open up the floor to you.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you one question after this, but I want to give you the opportunity to shout out anybody who helped you win this title. Cool. Shout out anybody who you want to thank or your sponsors who helped you with this ADCC run. Because, again, one of the downfalls of not being able to be on the sidelines and report there live was that you miss out on moments like this where I was like, yo, I want to give you your exit interview because it's not just about capturing the moment. It's about capturing the feeling of those who also helped with you. So I'd love to hear those people, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, right off the bat, I got to thank my family, my fiance for putting up with my crazy ass during those training camps because, you go into this deep, scary place in your mind during those kind of training camps. So I want to thank, my entire family, mom, dad, brother, sister, everyone, my fiance, My fiance is there with me, living with me during these training camps too, which I give her a lot of credit. She's out there helping me, make sure I'm staying hydrated and eating well. I want to thank my students, obviously, for being there for the training camp, because I told you, and like we were talking about earlier, we did the camp with them here at my academy. So I want to thank my students who took part in that camp, because that camp is not easy to be part of. Even if you're not the one competing, just being a part of that camp is not easy. And then I have my strength conditioning coach and wrestling coach, Coach John Marsh, who is a savage. He is the one who gets me in savage tip-top shape to push those 20, 30-minute matches and still push hard to the end. He's the reason why my wrestling takedowns are super sharp right now, sharper than ever. And he actually just won No-Gi Worlds, and he got promoted to purple belt on the podium by me. I want to thank my sponsor, Tatami. They're a sponsor, obviously, but they're more than just a sponsor to me. It's almost like they're my extended family out in the Wales, UK. We've been working together since my first ADCC, actually, since 2011. So it's really cool to be working with them since my first ADCC to now, where I have 2 titles at ADCC. They've been with me before I was a champion. They've been with me through the ups and downs. So it's cool to still be working together almost a decade now. And then, all of my fans out there, all of my fans and my students out there who always send me positive messages and positive reinforcement. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. And I appreciate you too, man. Thank you.
No.
You're the man, man.
No,
Seriously.
no.
I appreciate what you do for jiu-jitsu, man. Seriously, like just putting jiu-jitsu on a whole nother level, how you just elevated, and I just appreciate everything you do, man, for the community. It means a lot to me, man. Thank you.
That is very nice of you. Too nice.
Giving us platforms like this, man. Seriously.
I'll tell you this much, man. All I'm trying to do is bring something a little different that I think you guys deserve. So I'm not blowing smoke at people's ass. I literally, when I bring them on, I'm like, people should understand, who don't do the sport, how hard it is. And if you do understand how hard it is, you understand why somebody like you deserves to have multiple outlets interviewing you. Not one.
Thank you.
Multiple. Because
Thank you.
when Tom Brady wins a Super Bowl, it's not like he just goes there and goes, "Hey, NBC, you're the only people I talk to." It's like every other sporting outlet is there. And so to me, it actually makes me sad to see only 1 or 2 people interview you afterwards. Because I'm like, this is insanity. Like, if you know how hard this sport is, everybody should be coming up and asking you questions. And I look forward to the day when I have to fight more people to get one question in with you guys. Granted, I'll hate you all personally for the work I put in if you're ignoring me and I only get one question, but I'll deal with you guys individually. Well, the last question I had for you was this. We've had an announcement from a certain Gordon Ryan that said that he will be retiring, quote unquote retiring.
Yeah.
Does this open the opportunity for a trash-talking persona of a JT Torres to fill the void? Because now we might be getting into an era of too polite of competition. So have you considered this as filling the asshole void left by one Gordon Ryan?
I just can't do it, man. I can't do it, man. I just can't bring myself to do it. I gotta give Gordon a lot of credit, man. It's hard to do that. It's hard to talk all that stuff, and I'm not
saying it's not entertaining. It's not,
it's entertaining. It is.
It's not something that all of us would feel comfortable doing. But at the same point, people make a lot of noise about him being an American practitioner that wins. And I'm like, JT Torres, still American. Don't forget that. So I'm always like, let's not forget quiet killers are still killers.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
If you ever change your mind on that,
I'll let you know.
You can let me know. Or if you just want me to be your mouthpiece, I can be your angry Obama translator kind of character. And just be like, what JT really means to say is, your half guard is garbage. And he sliced through it like butter, son. What? My man JT is untouchable, son. So I would be more than happy to fulfill that void for you.
Thank you.
Anyway, JT, I'm going to let you get on out of here. I want to thank all of you guys for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of our show. If you are not somebody who is subscribing to the show, do so right now. We have made a goal, and I will say this right now. When we put our goals out there, we make sure that we achieve them. So this year, we are putting it out there, and it's a heavy goal. We're getting 2,500 subscribers this year on Grappling Hour. I put it out there because I'm going for it, because I think it's important to give grapplers like JT and our friends an opportunity to say their piece. So this year we're putting it out there. If you haven't subscribed, go do so. I would have something down here, but I don't. You can go to YouTube. You can go to Facebook. Give us a subscription on all of those places. My thanks to the man, JT Torres, our champ, our good friend, a silent killer, but one that smiles consistently. So JT, thank you very much for your time. And it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you guys back on the mats.
Thank you.